Hi guys, sorry it's been a while, I know, but I'm back now and this video is going to be talking about my labor story. So my water broke on a Saturday afternoon, but baby didn't arrive until Wednesday night. Yep, I was in labor for 4 days. 4 days. How did we survive it? What did we do? Here's the story.
It was pretty crazy because also I'd never heard those sounds before.
From me?
Yeah, from you, and it was like, my God, the pain that you must be in, and it just sounded really full on.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we have my husband as a guest, special guest. So we're going to talk about our home birth story and how we went through 4 days of labor and how we had the baby in the house, in this room behind us.
It's true.
So it started with...
Hold on. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining. So I thought it would be good to just have you come and give your story in terms of how it was for you as well, because you were there throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I was.
So if we're talking in slightly hushed tones, it's because the baby's asleep. But yeah, hopefully you can hear us. So anyway, it started with my water breaking on the Saturday afternoon. I was having a friend here and my water broke, but it didn't break like, nothing like in the movies of like, nothing like that. It was more just a trickle. And then I was coming to pick you up because you'd gone climbing. Tell us about your climbing.
I went climbing. It's true.
So George does lots of climbing. And so I knew I needed to come and meet you, but I also knew, like, I don't, if my water's broken, what does that mean? So then I called Lucy, the midwife, and she said, oh, that's just a hind leak. Just wear a pad and carry on with your day, which I did. So it was kind of confusing. I was like, I don't know. And I didn't tell my friend. I didn't tell Aggie. A quick note. I was already 41 weeks along. I was desperate to get this baby out. That morning, I woke up, I went to my Zumba class and I went swimming, but then the action didn't start until that afternoon. But it's good to note that that morning, I was still exercising. I was out there just doing the most. So anyway, I finished up with what we're doing and then I came to pick you up. And then I told you.
I think you phoned me while I was there and you were like, oh, how's your climb? How's your whatever? By the way, I think my water broke. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you were a bit like, what?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was like, don't worry. I've talked to Lucy.
I'm coming. I'm getting in the car.
It's fine.
Is that what you can do? Is that what you're supposed to do when your waters break?
Yeah.
But yeah, you were pretty chilled about it. And it seemed that, you weren't too freaked out.
Yeah.
So
I think talking to Lucy helped.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And especially when she was like, oh, that's fine. It's just a hind leak. Okay, so hind leak is your water breaking from the top, so not from the bottom, which means it's just like the bag has broken at the top and it's just trickling down slowly. So it can take some time before all the water comes out, in which case you just have to let the process take its time.
Yeah. It basically means that there's still going to be a whole load of liquid, that the baby's still protected by all the liquid.
Yeah.
Because if it was a lower leak, a lower break, then the water might all go, and then you've got to get to the hospital, within a few hours or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But because it was a hind leak, top leak, then
there's still time.
Lucy said it's all right.
Yeah.
There's still plenty.
Yeah.
There's no danger of infection, because I think once all the liquid goes, there's danger of infection kind of getting in, and that's why you have to be at hospital and probably get the baby out quite quickly. But here, she was like, no, it's fine. It's a hind leak.
Yes.
Just chill.
And also the fact that we knew we were already going to give birth at home. So it wasn't something that we decided at the last minute. It was something we'd already planned. It was only a matter of taking advice from our midwife. And as long as we were talking to her and we were telling her what's happening, and she was like, listen, there's no need to panic. Just relax. It's just a hind leak. it's fine. And we didn't even know, I'd never heard of anything like Heimlich. So for me, I was like, okay, I guess maybe my water's broken, but maybe there's still time. So then I carried on with my day. And I was like, what about infections? Like George said, obviously it's like, no, it's fine. You're at home. It's fine. So because we had someone who was a professional and she was giving us like a lot of reassurance and telling us it's fine and guiding us, I think that put me at ease. So I came to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously there was that. I didn't tell my friend at all. The whole time I was like, I can't tell her. I didn't want to put any panic, so I didn't tell her. Dropped her off wherever she was going. I was very calm. Then I came to pick you up. And then we were supposed to have dinner. We were supposed to go out to dinner. But then we thought I think we got takeout and came to eat at home.
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah. So instead we came home. And we're like, okay, if something happens, at least be at home. And the whole time we are on the phone with the midwife. And she's like, you're totally fine. Are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? You're totally fine. Okay, fine. So we went to sleep. We ate and then went to sleep.
I think actually I cycled up to the mall. Or I drove up to the mall that night to go and get like adult diapers and...
Was it that night?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Maybe
I think
it was.
because we thought this was it. I think we were pretty sure that baby would arrive by the next morning. So Lucy,
or at least that the water would break like proper.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
So Lucy was like, oh well, yeah, you need to have this and this. I think it was just having adult diapers.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
I don't know if there was other stuff that I needed, but yeah, I did like a late night.
Yes.
Drive up to the Westlands Mall.
Yeah.
Got those, and then we went to bed. But we were pretty sure, or I thought.
I mean, we were like, it could happen anytime.
Happen anytime.
The process has started.
Exactly.
Then we went to sleep, but also wondering, is this the night? But then that night was very uneventful. Like nothing really happened.
No, I think we got sleep. We were all right.
We were okay. We woke up in the morning, spoke to the midwife, and she was like, okay, you're just fine. Sometimes these things take time. Just keep changing your pad or your diaper, whatever you're using. And
like asking whether contractions have started.
Yeah,
and I think you probably had some things, but
No.
We realised like they weren't actually proper contractions.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of like a cramp, like from far, but nothing like too bad. So we carried on fine. So that was Saturday. So Sunday came, and during the day we went for. Did we go for a walk?
I think we did. I think we did our normal Sunday walk.
Yeah, we went for a walk on Sundays. We do Karura walk in the forest, and then we bumped into our neighbor, whose wife was due almost the same time, and the one who our midwife put us together for our prenatal classes. So it was just random that we bumped into each other, and he was there with the dog, and we didn't say we were a neighbor, but I was kind of starting to feel the cramps or the contractions at that point. So I was, being calm. Was that Sunday or Monday?
I think it was Monday.
I think that was Monday. Mm-hmm. So Sunday was very uneventful. That's true. So Sunday was okay.
I think Lucy came round because she came round each morning basically. So I think Sunday she did come round just to kind of check.
Yes.
She'd already come a few days earlier, and she'd put the bath into the room. So that was already blown up. We already had everything ready basically for the birth.
For the home birth.
We had heaters. We had
my
towels.
hospital bag was packed.
Hospital bag just in case. Yeah.
We'd
organised an ambulance to be on standby.
Yeah.
But hadn't called them. But we just booked them in basically.
Yeah.
Which is quite a cool service.
Yeah. So that was something which Lucy had told us about. Like, you need to book this service, which you pay 2,400 bob, and it gives you 2 rescues. And basically what that means, because in Kenya obviously there's no ambulances, like free ambulance service. Then you have this dedicated ambulance for you for 2 rescues in a year, and so the home birth is 1. And that means once the home birth starts, the midwife calls the ambulance, and they just sit in your compound for the day as they wait for you in case you need it. So that was really good to have that. But we didn't use it until the day. Well, so now we're on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So now it's day 2, and we don't really know how long this is going to go on for. The whole time I think it could be happening now. Remember, this entire time we haven't told anybody. We haven't told my family. You haven't told your family.
No.
like we're going through this by ourselves. It's only Lucy who knows.
And we hadn't told them that we were having a home birth.
We hadn't told them anything.
Because we didn't want too much freak out or judgment or whatever.
Yeah. And my mom was calling me every day, at least since my due date had passed, asking me, Bado, still no baby? And even after the contractions started, or after the water had broken, I was just like, nope, nothing, not yet. So that's basically how we were playing it. So the entire time it was just the two of us handling it.
Mm.
And then Sunday, the weekend was all right. You know, it was...
Sunday was fine, I think.
And then Sunday night...
I think Sunday night, was when things started getting a bit more...
Dramatic.
Dramatic is right.
Yeah, so basically the contractions properly kicked in Sunday evening.
Yeah, we thought you'd been in labour, but you hadn't been in labour.
No.
We only...
That's why, like, sometimes they say it was 3 days, sometimes they say 4 days, but generally speaking, like, the water broke on Saturday, but Sunday is where
Sunday night,
things properly kicked in, and the contractions were crazy. And that first night, that Sunday night of contractions, I think it was like, basically how the feeling is it's almost as if you're being sawn in half, or maybe like someone holding your head and your feet, okay, not someone, but something that like holds the two ends of your body and pulls them up. Like it feels like you're being pulled apart, in like almost to be ripped in half. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
It was so painful. And then, like, how was it for you? Because I would just like suddenly yell, like we'd be asleep, and I'd suddenly just like jump up, like screaming.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible. It was pretty horrible. It was just, you know, it was crazy because there was nothing really I could do.
No.
And when I thought like you'd kind of calm down, there'd suddenly be just another big yelp and scream, and like it was like a horror film, because you know when you thought the terrors kind of died down and you can like get some sleep, suddenly you turn another corner and there it is again. And it was crazy, and each time it was maybe a little bit different. So maybe one time you'd be like, rub my back, so I'd rub your back and whatever. And so the second time it's like, okay, good, I know what to do. So I'd rub your back. Don't do that. So, okay. So
basically, like, because in our prenatal classes we'd gotten ways that George can help me with my labour, we knew, this pressure points is supposed to press.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And there's bits, on the wrist and on the feet and like at the back.
Yeah, it sounded like it was all very gentle. It was like, I just need to do
I just need to find that spot and then it'll be fine. And then in one contraction, he'd find it, I'd be like, that's really helping. And then the next one, he'd be like going for it, I'd be like, don't touch me. And it was like, it would change so much from one contraction to the next in terms of how intense the pain was or how the reaction of you touching me would be. So that it was just a nightmare, I guess, for you, especially since you're just like, I guess, I thought this was working and now it's not.
Yeah. You'd also, like, sometimes you just grab my hand
and really
squeeze it, yeah. And like, sometimes if your fingers are, like, pulled when they're not like aligned.
This. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'd have to make sure that my hand was always in the right position so that when you grabbed it, it wasn't breaking my bones.
Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy, because also I'd never heard those sounds before.
From me?
Yeah, from you. And it was like, my God, the pain that you must be in. And it just sounded really full on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess by this point, maybe you're wondering, why would I not just give up and go to the hospital? Why not just go? And
maybe by Monday morning you might be thinking that, because we survived the night, and I think we'd even started calling Lucy and saying, the contractions have started, and she was like, okay, well, you need to time them, and we had a very clear schedule.
We had an app we were using called, here, I'll tell you what the app was. Oh, here it is, Full Term. It was called Full Term. Yeah, it was a really good app. And it was helping us to time the contractions.
Yeah.
So now we are on Monday. So Monday morning comes, and then we call Lucy, and she comes in, and I'm like desperate, like, please tell me how much dilated I am. And the thing about Lucy's method is she doesn't measure the dilation. She checks, there's a way that she presses up at the top of the stomach, which I didn't understand. It didn't make sense to me. And I was like, I want numbers. I think at that point I was like, give me numbers. And so she was like, okay, I don't usually, but if you want me to, I can check and tell you how much you've dilated. So she did, on my insistence anyway. And she told me I was 2 centimeters. And I was like,
and you're supposed to reach like 10.
I'm supposed to reach 10. I'm so far.
And we've, like, I think that Sunday night was so epic, and we didn't sleep.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the contractions came as the night really set in and then died away as dawn broke.
Yeah.
So it was just a relief when the day came, because during the daytime your contractions were kind of a lot more chilled, and you could get up and you could walk around.
I could do stuff. I could cope with them. But at night it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Literally nightmare. And so Monday, after she checked me and she said 2 centimeters, but she was like really reassuring and saying, listen, everything is fine, your baby's fine, as your vitals are fine, it's just up to you. If you think you can keep going, we just wait. And she kept saying, this baby is coming today. Like, this baby is coming. And I was like, okay, I just need to put up with this for a bit longer. And I didn't want to go to the hospital, just to say, for, clarity, because I was determined to have a natural birth. And we'd agreed, like, as long as I'm able to put up with it and persevere, then we'll just keep going.
And we knew, like, that if we went to the hospital then, you'd only have a certain amount of time. Like, your labour's already started. They would induce after 24 hours or whatever. And we were keen. But I do remember as well that Lucy that morning said, if you are too tired, then we'll have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And already that was like, are we at that stage already?
Yeah.
You might need to go.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, it's up to you. Whatever you decide, I can tell you you're fine, but if you feel like you can't do it, then it's your call. And I was like, no, I can do this. I've got it. I can do this. Because I really didn't want, I knew going to the hospital meant possibly a cesarean section, and I really didn't want that. Especially if I say my water broke on Saturday, they'd be like, what? So then I was like, no, it's fine. And the other thing is, of course, with the infection, she also said going to the hospital puts me in more danger of being exposed to infection than if I was to stay at home, because hospitals where all the sick people are, and you laboring in the hospital after your water is broken gives you more chance to catch whatever people have. So then it was like, okay, fine, we'll just stay at home. So we did. And then she left. And then we went for a walk in Karura, and that's when we met our neighbor with his dog. And then I was trying really to be brave. I didn't want them to know that. I didn't want him to know that we were in labor yet. And we just, said, oh yeah, we're just waiting to hear. We've passed our due date, blah, blah, blah. And literally, I think as soon as it turned around, I was like, or something. So we did our walk, and we thought that was going to push things along. Again, my mom called me. I think she called when we were walking. I was like, no, we're just doing our walk. Still not telling her anything. And then we came back home. That day the labor was there. Like, I could feel the contractions quite strong, but nothing like nighttime.
Nothing like nighttime. Like, yeah, you'd have to stop every now and then and just kind of,
catch
let it
breath.
Pass.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
Still
and it was,
manageable.
we were walking.
And it was still spread out. I think it was happening like once every 10
chilled.
or 15 or 20 minutes. So it was like very spread out.
Yeah.
So that was Monday. And then Monday night, another crazy night.
Just,
and then,
wouldn't have thought that it could be as intense, but it was probably more intense. And again, it was this same thing of like when the nighttime comes, that's when the contractions came.
Yeah.
And it was just, again, really intense, really, really full on.
And I was like, I think it was so... Oh, that's the other thing. Lucy said when she came on Monday morning and we're telling her how bad the cramps were and the contractions were, and she was like, oh, quick tip. When you have the contractions, make sure you're kneeling or you're on all fours or you're on the floor. And that really helps. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm prepped. That night, every time the contraction came, I would go down to the floor quickly and kneel, like by the bed. And it didn't help. It was like, I'm still not getting any relief. And I remember there was a point where I was literally smacking the wall. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was so like the pain was so bad. I think maybe I was trying to get myself to hurt myself so I have some other pain to worry about or something. Wasn't it something like that? It was like,
I don't know. I don't know what was going on at all, but it was pretty horrific. It was like I was stuck in a torture room and just having to kind of deal with it.
And not knowing, but what was it like for you, like in your mind? What was going through your head?
I just put gentle music on in my head.
No, but in terms of, obviously you're not feeling the pain, but you have to witness the pain. Were you thinking we should just go to the hospital, or were you thinking?
I was worried because Lucy had already said that morning, like, if you're too tired, then we're going to have to go to hospital, because you need quite a lot of strength and energy to actually deliver the baby. And if the labour itself has taken away all that energy, so for Lucy to have already said, like, our hospital is a possibility, made me worried.
Yeah, me too.
And then, you know, I could see that we were having a second night where we weren't going to have any sleep.
Because that's the other thing, there was no sleeping. Like, the whole time it's just horror, so you can't sleep. As soon as you start to drift off, it starts again, and I'll be screaming and pounding on the wall and jumping to the floor and going on all fours and squeezing your hand and just everything. So we literally didn't have any sleep. And then I think it was Monday night that you came and put water. So you came and put water in the...
Yeah, maybe at like 4 a.m. I was just like, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
So I filled up the bath with water. And I think it was maybe good I did, because...
It really helped.
It did help.
It helped.
But also at the last minute, as I was boiling water and maybe putting water on the stove and using the heater, all the elec went. So all of the sockets went. So then we knew, okay, we can only use a certain amount. But so I think I managed to just fill the bath so that it was...
Yeah, but it's important to say about that, because we got one of those... So we don't have like a water heating system. We have like instant showers, and then we don't have like a, you know, like where you can just turn on the heating and all the water is hot. So we had to use it's like an electric coil. It's like a coil that's...
It's like the inside of a kettle, but just on a handle. So you just put
you put it in your bucket to warm it. But then we got like a really cheap one. Like we got like the gardener or someone to go and buy it for us. So we got like a really cheap one, and it made the electricity trip. So then, so that was good to know, because we asked Lucy about it. And then she was like, oh, you can't use it with everything else on. You have to turn everything off.
Well, we also had the heater as well, like the room heater. So we just had too many things going on. Like
and the kettle.
The kettle, exactly.
So it was a lot.
But I managed to fill the bath.
And then I sat in it.
And you sat in it.
And that really helped. I was just like, this is such a relief. So nice. So then it gave me like hope, like, okay, if this is going to help, maybe the birth itself will be good, because I'll be nice.
Yeah.
And that was really nice to do, even though it was like 4 a.m. So then it was like, okay, cool, at least we know we can manage it. So then Tuesday came, and then we had another day of labor. And then remember, we decided to walk up to Oilibia.
Yeah, I think Lucy came again to check, because she came every morning.
The whole day.
And
the whole week.
She was like, yeah, just, you know, you're doing fine, and keep going.
Yeah.
I don't think she
didn't check
She didn't check you.
She just checked the vitals. She was like, your baby's doing fine. She's kicking like, okay, we didn't know it was a she at the time, but she was like, your baby's kicking very healthy and everything's going well. Yeah. Just keep going.
As long as you're okay, then you can kind of keep going. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, she checked baby's heart, and you could tell that
everything was fine.
She was all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
she was like, just go out, walking might induce the baby.
Yeah.
So we walked up the hill.
And it was a distance that usually takes us maybe 10, 15 minutes to walk. But that day, it took me...
half an hour plus.
40 minutes, I think.
Yeah. It was crazy, because the day before we'd gone around Karura Forest, and it seemed to be fine.
Yeah.
And this, just walking up the hill was...
It was like walking snail pace and then pausing. I think people we saw, they were like, your baby is coming today, don't worry, or something. I remember we met someone... And she was, I think when we got to the top of the hill, the woman who sells vegetables, she was like, this baby's coming today. So it looked like I was literally giving birth that day.
Yeah.
And then we came back home, and I thought, okay, I've done my exercise for today. Surely it's happening tonight. And then Tuesday night, nothing. Yet another night.
Well, there wasn't nothing. There was a whole night of horror again.
Another night of horror.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, I don't
crushed
think I can do
fingers
this.
And
Yeah. But then on Wednesday morning, after the Tuesday night, I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. By that point, I was so exhausted. We hadn't slept in days. I was so, in so much pain. And then I was just like, I'm not going to be able to have the energy to push this baby out, even if this was... Because Lucy kept saying, oh, this happens. There's some women who labor for a week. So this is totally normal. Don't listen to the movies. The movies lie.
Is that right? A week?
Yeah. She said there's someone who she delivered who was in labor for a week, for a full 7 days.
Wow.
Or was it 5 days? But it was more. So she was like, this totally happens. As long as you're willing to keep going, your body's doing what it's supposed to do. So I was like, okay, fine. And for me, I'm like, power of a woman. I can do this. And of course, with your help, it was like...
Power of a man. Not the power of a man.
Yeah. It was like, we've got this. We can do this. Let's stay on course. So then, but then by Wednesday morning, I was like so wiped out. When she came, I was like, please tell me. And I insisted, please check me. I need to know, is something wrong with my body? Am I not progressing? Because if it's been days, if you tell me I'm still 2 centimeters, I'm going to give up. So on my insistence, she checked me. And then she told me, oh, our baby's up.
Baby's awake.
So baby might have to be part of this next bit. Yeah. Let's get her, shall we? Okay, baby. Hello.
Welcome, baby.
Welcome, baby. Welcome to the story. So now we are on Wednesday,
yeah.
And then Lucy comes, and she comes with her assistant. I mean, she was always coming, I think, with her assistant, wasn't she?
I think so.
And then I insisted, please measure me. And this is your story, baby. So, square. So, she measured, and then she told me I was 6 centimeters. And then suddenly it gave me this jolt of, we're getting there. Like, suddenly I got this new, lease of life. And I was so more energized and motivated. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm making progress.
Galvanized.
Things are great. And then she said, this baby is definitely coming today. I think she measured, because I normally she was pressing the top of my belly, and there's a way she could tell. Don't expose me, baby. There's a way she could tell. Maybe I'll try and breastfeed her facing the other way. And there's a way that she could tell how things were looking. I'm breastfeeding on camera. Don't mind. And do you think this is appropriate? Or is it too much?
I think it's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. Don't be shy to breastfeed in public. Is the take home from this. Anyway,
there you
go. So she said everything's looking good. Have a shower, and then we'll have a walk. She sent you to go and get food, and she's like, all systems go. This baby's coming today. And I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, really? So then you went off to get food.
Yeah.
And then they offloaded the car and brought all the stuff into the house, set up. And at that point, I was like, suddenly, I think because of her saying that, or maybe just because it was time, the contractions started becoming more regular.
Hallelujah. Right.
Every 2 minutes, or just around about 2 minutes. And that was great. And I was laboring knowing this baby's coming. And so they filled up the bath, and I got in. I remember I got in around 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, around 2, yeah.
And the whole time we're thinking, yeah, this baby's coming now. And then we had a playlist of music to play. Like, the beauty with having a home bath is you set it up the way you want. So you can have music, you can have candles. We had lit candles. We had, you can put up nice pictures on the wall, whatever it is. And then the playlist that we had, that I'd come up with, was like nice dancey, jumpy up music.
Like disco, 70s disco stuff. That was all the stuff that you wanted.
That I wanted. In my head, I thought it's going to be like, we're going to be partying and then making the process go faster. But as soon as we played the music, I was like, turn that rubbish off. Play something soothing. So then that went into the bin. And we had to find new music. And you played some nice...
It was all just like ambient and Brian Eno and kind of...
piano.
Chilled stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just on loop.
On loop. Yeah. But then the whole time we're thinking this baby's coming any minute. And then it was an hour, and then 2 hours, and then 3 hours. And then next thing you know, I remember seeing that suddenly it was dark outside.
Hold on. You've gone way.
Oh, okay, sorry. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. That was the first bit of this story. The next bit is just talking about the delivery process and how we had the unmedicated natural home water birth and what that looked like and the role that my husband played and how we finally got to meet our little one and how special that moment was, inclusive of the video because we filmed the entire thing. So please stay tuned for the next video. We'll see you then. Bye!